What up, everybody? It's your boy CG, back at you guys again with more crypto news and information. Now, before I get into the topics of today's video, if you guys could please do me a favor and hit that like button. It's the easiest way for you to show your support for the channel. It takes less than a second, and it puts me on the good side of the YouTube algorithms. So please hit that like. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Crypto hedge funds vastly outperform their traditional brethren. Now, as you guys know, we have seen in this economic downturn everything hitting the toilet, literally gone to hell. But while Bitcoin did plunge all the way down to 3,700, it did an immediate, I'm not going to say immediate, but it bounced right back up to, I believe, about $10,000, $10,800, literally tripling its price, which is amazing if you ask me, considering how other things were performing in comparison. So let's look at the actual statistics. Crypto hedge funds report gains of 13.4% on average, while traditional hedge funds, on the other hand, are down by 6.7% on average. Now, guys, you guys have to remember that this is not little money we're playing with here. 13.4% may not seem like a lot, but when you're dealing with, like, let's even say like $1 billion, 13.4% is $134 million. And being down 6.7%, that's around what, $67 million if you're dealing with that same billion-dollar hedge fund. So you guys have to remember that they aren't playing with little money here. This is big money. And for those who don't know, hedge funds are basically not corporations. They are institutions that pool a variety of investors' money together, and they invest in a market. And depending on the type of market it is, they may invest into different genres in that market, subsectors or subcategories. Kind of like how if you know how your 401k works or your mutual fund works, that's how hedge funds work. On top of that, they also invest in startups and so on and so forth. But let's just keep everything real basic right now. So in my personal opinion, we are going to see this gap widen and widen and widen and widen to the point where it's going to be kind of ridiculous for people to even be comparing the growth of the crypto hedge funds as opposed to the growth of the traditional hedge funds. In my personal opinion, people are going to see that the traditional market is literally underwater. It is a house that has been patched up, that and the fact about it is, this house actually needs to be torn down and then rebuilt from the ground up, but nobody's going to do that. They see that the crypto house over there is being built up with new steel beams and layers and all these different things that would make it a much better shelter as opposed to where they're at now. So people are going to start moving over into the crypto segment or the crypto market. Next topic. Bitcoin mining giant Canaan reports 417% increase in profit. So, while they have reported a net loss of $5.6 million in Q1 2020, despite seeing a huge increase in profits, according to the company's newly released financial report, its gross profit increased by 417% from Q1 2019, while net revenues increased by 44%. So, what they're basically saying is they have seen a significant increase in money since their last report in Q1 2019, for those who don't understand it. But what they're saying is they may have increased as far as profit and revenue go by a large margin. Just this quarter alone, mostly because of the corona epidemic, we have seen some pullbacks in the amount of money that they're pulling in, or some cuts in the amount of money they're pulling in. But that in no way, shape, or form means that they aren't making a lot of freaking money. And you guys have to remember, I stated this before, the smaller miners are going out of business. They are capitulating. The bigger miners that have actual backing by larger players, on top of the fact that they may have the money to continue operations regardless of what takes place in the next couple of months, these people are going to be the winners. And another thing about it is that if people don't really grasp the concept of what Bitcoin mining, correct me if I'm wrong, the less people you have on the Bitcoin network mining or solving those puzzles, the easier it is for people that are still remaining as these people are leaving, the easier it is for them to produce bitcoins. The easier and faster it is for them to produce bitcoins, or the more amount of bitcoins they can produce in a certain amount of time. So we're going to start seeing this as far as bigger people getting into mining, and that's actually how I'm going to end this video, because we do have something that I saw coming, but let's get to it. Next topic: institutional investors are buying up BTC like crazy after halving. Institutional investor interest in Bitcoin is experiencing an unprecedented surge, with GBTC alone swallowing up 17% of newly minted Bitcoins. The biggest benefactor of all this is Grayscale, for those who don't know, an extremely huge financial institution. So let's get straight to the numbers. People are predicting that Grayscale may swallow up over about 550,000 BTC by 2021. Mind you, 90% of Grayscale's clients are institutional players, so people are converting slowly but surely. Its holdings diminish the circulating supply of BTC as its assets are locked away in Coinbase vaults. They're speaking on Grayscale right now. As of today, GBTC has, for those who don't know, GBTC is the ticker for Bitcoin on, I believe, the stock markets. As of today, GBTC has taken 350,000 Bitcoin out of the circulating supply. This represents 2% of Bitcoin's circulating supply, not taking into account the number of lost coins. Since 2019, GBTC, or Grayscale, has consumed 100,375.93 Bitcoin, which is 17% of all Bitcoins mined during this time period. So Grayscale is on a rampage. They're not playing. In the last 3 months, the pace at which institutional investors have been investing into GBTC has tripled. If this trend continues, then in another 3 months, it will be holding 400K. And in another 6.5 months after that, it will be around 550K if they continue that same trajectory. Furthermore, if this forecast comes to fruition, it will imply that GBTC will be gauging up or swallowing up 75% of all newly mined BTC. Lending platforms can't satisfy institutional glut. So Alex Machinsky, CEO of Celsius, which is a platform I tend to mention often on my videos, is saying that we now have over 260 institutional borrowers, and we did close to $10 billion in loans since launch, and their launch was in about 2018, I believe. The price of BTC does not matter. What matters is volatility of prices going up and down. And let me also say this: Grayscale, earlier in this article, also made a statement saying that the price of Bitcoin doesn't matter to them. They don't care. They're going to continue to buy it. BTC could be $15,000 right now. They could be buying at a premium. Grayscale is still going to continue to buy. Why? Because maybe they see a future in this whole market. Who knows? He also added that he could easily lend out another 100K BTC if he had it. This is despite the fact that Celsius charges 5 to 12% annual interest rate. Zach Prince, CEO of BlockFi, another crypto lending platform, although the company does not disclose its data publicly, told Cointelegraph that he expects the surge in institutional interest to continue. So there you have it, people. This, as this title says, might be the perfect storm for us to see these Bitcoin price predictions that a lot of people have been throwing out there since 2017 end, 2018 end, 2019 beginning to end. This may be the storm. I still do believe that we are going to see a pullback soon, because I don't think that we have seen the full capitulation of the smaller Bitcoin miners, but I may be wrong. I've said this before, I may be wrong. Who knows? This could play out completely differently than I'm anticipating it to. So yeah, I'm going to leave the articles in the description of the video for you guys to come check out for yourselves. Just going over it briefly. Iranian president calls for national crypto mining strategy. So essentially, if you guys have been following any types of politics over the last 2 years, Iran has had sanctions placed on them because of breaking the nuclear deal and other aforementioned things by President Donald Trump. These people are trying to stop the flight of capital from their country. People are seeing that the economic situation in Iran or the local companies is looking extremely is looking dry. So Iran has actually adopted a crypto mining policy in the last year to 2 years, allowing people to come in and hold crypto mining setups or facilities, whatever you want to call it. They've issued over, I believe, 1,000 licenses since they created this. They drafted this bill. Oh yeah, right here. It says it right here. Report in January, Iran has issued over 1,000 licenses in its first 6 months. Since July 2019, that's when it actually officially recognized crypto mining as legitimate. Iran currently has a 4% share in Bitcoin's total hash rate, according to the BTC mining map, more than double what it was at the beginning of September. So Iran is apparently, like I said, trying to circumvent or disregard the sanctions and find other means of bringing money into the system. But this doesn't actually address what they're talking about right now. What they're talking about right now is adding extra regulations to the already booming mining situation in Iran. And like I stated earlier, more than likely, these are just regulations to keep capital inside of the country rather than having it leave the country as soon as it's made in the country. So they're trying to hold on to whatever straws they can grasp right now. But it's just the fact that we are seeing these smaller countries that didn't necessarily win the my fiat runs the world, my fiat runs the world title. Right now that belongs to China and the US. So all the other countries are doing their best to reach that spot. And in this vie for power, they've realized that BTC and the crypto market may be the next big thing that can take them to that #1 spot. So we're going to see more and more countries doing things like this. And don't be surprised if by the time we see almost all countries openly accepting of this, that we have like a $200,000 to $500,000 Bitcoin. And that's my personal opinion. Could be wrong. But this has been your boy CG, everybody. Have a great day. Peace. I'll be back tomorrow.